Stay tuned for tips and techniques from the nation's top chefs in the Chef's Kitchen.
We are back with Daniel Lordy of Moet and Hennessy. Great to have you here in the Chef's Kitchen. And Stefanie Marco of Belvedere Vodka. Hi. Wonderful to see you, the mixologist for Belvedere, and Stefanie, our bartender. We're here to talk about holiday cocktails. Where are we going to start? I'm really excited because I love champagne.
You love champagne? Well, let's
start. And it's the holidays, so.
Okay, let's start with champagne. People are getting a bad impression about champagne nowadays. It's only good to pour on people's heads over celebrations of baseball games or stuff.
In Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia, at least. Anyways, people are getting the wrong impression, but champagnes also make great cocktails, and that's what we're going to do right now. And
champagne cocktail, classic cocktail in a classic bartending setting, but there's so many different types of cocktails you can make with champagne. It's not just your classic champagne cocktail.
And people have the misconception that champagne is for celebration, but champagne at its base is made from 3 grapes, and 2 of those grapes are red grapes, Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier, so they really lend themselves to matching with food and sweets, and they may really make great cocktails. So it's a great opportunity to experiment, and we'll see. We're gonna make an apricot blossom cocktail, which is a mixture of Belvedere vodka, some apricot puree, and so she's going to make your drink like she would a normal martini, and at the end she's just going to top it off to make it even greater. She's just going to top it off with some Moet champagne.
It sounds great. I think that that's sort of a new trend in spirits and wine to add vodka or other spirits to a champagne cocktail.
Well, or to add champagne to an existing cocktail to make it a little bit more luxurious. You can substitute the club soda and use a great champagne and add a little bit of fizz and a little bit of flavor.
So you're floating champagne on the top, or do you don't put it in the mixing glass?
No. You never want to shake anything that has carbonation.
Makes sense.
It takes kind of the point away from it. But you get a nice little fizz and a nice little foam on top. You'll see in a moment.
Well, Moet White Star is sort of a classic.
It's a classic, and
classic
it's
fruit champagne.
It really is a wonderful food champagne. Yeah. Well, you are going to get to have our first taste.
Great. I love the garnish of the apricot too, echoing the apricot flavor.
Yeah, and we got some nice, really attractive apricots to go along with it.
The apricot blossom, the imperial apricot blossom.
Apricot blossom.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you,
It smells great. Smells like a fruit orchard.
It's wonderful.
And you can really taste how nothing else but champagne would do on top of that cocktail.
And it's really great flavor. It's not too sweet.
The next cocktail we're going to make is called the Belvedere Violet Fizz.
It's a really fun cocktail. We use a touch of creme de violette, and the Belvedere is a fabulous base. When you're talking about vodka, you really want to use a product that's pure, that's natural, and Belvedere is all of those things. Being that it's from Poland, it's really sanctioned to be a pure vodka, whereas vodkas from other parts of the world can actually add additives, glycerin, citric acid, things that we
don't want to drink.
Things that, though that vodka may be 5 times distilled, actually will contribute to a pretty bad hangover. So Belvedere is a great base product, and we're using the Belvedere today. We also have a citrus and an orange flavor that would work beautifully in this cocktail as well.
Interesting, I like that. I love the color of the violet. I also want to mention Beautiful Blooms, who did the flowers here today. Gorgeous. We've got some violet in the blooms.
Really lovely, and we love edible flowers in our cocktails
it's great.
too.
Well, rose petals are great in champagne cocktails.
Stephanie's going to muddle some grapes and add the Belvedere vodka, a little bit of our Grand Marnier to give it that lovely warm feeling of the holidays, and then top it off with a little bit of creme de violette.
There's a lot going on in that.
Lime juice. And if you're just thinking of a drink in parts, like, you need 1 part sweet, 1 part sour, 1 part spirit, and then you can kind of really go from there and get really creative.
Happy holidays.
Thank you so much. Well done.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Delicious, I would say.
It is.
The third one is actually probably the simplest cocktail we're going to make. It's just a little bit of a slight variation on the sidecar, which is a very historical.
It's a brandy-based drink.
You can make it with brandy, but you can also make it better by using an aged cognac, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be using Hennessy VSOP, which is 15-year-old cognac.
When you pair it with a little touch of the Grand Marnier, which is also a cognac-based cordial, we have a little bit of that orange coming through from the Grand Marnier. We have the lovely maple sugar balancing with the beautiful warmth of the Hennessy. I think it's just a lovely classic cocktail.
I'm sure the cognac adds that depth of color.
It looks like maple.
It does. Cheers to cognac and maple.
Cheers. Thank you, Stephanie. So good.
I like that one. Let's recap on what we tasted here today. The original was the apricot blossom, and then we have the violet
fizz,
and then we have our cognac Grand Marnier orange
sidecar.
Very classic sidecar with a touch of maple.
Thank you so much. This was interesting. Happy holidays.
Same to you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
To see today's recipe and all of the recipes featured on the Chef's Kitchen, log on to chefskitchen.tv.